Oh, a new visitor from the woods. Welcome. Are you a lost wanderer? Tired of a long journey? Then join me. Sit beside the fireplace, and let me tell you some stories that may soothe your mood as you regain your strength. Are you all set? Good. Would you believe me if I tell you that a behemoth of burnished metal, cold as steel, fueled with steam and crackling electricity, has the warmest heart for the needy? Surely something must have happened for it to make sense. Is he programmed that way, or did he manage to surpass his coding? According to his own words, a single gear turning can make all the difference. I guess it's up to us to unfold the answers in his tale. This is the story of the Great Steam Golem named Blitzcrank. Venturing to the land of Piltover, located on an isthmus between Valoran and Shurima, a progressive society occupies the land. They may not be as massive as the Shuriman Empire, but their advancement in technology was known to the world. That's why the place was known as the City of Progress. It is a dreamy place to live in, especially for those who have a thirst for knowledge. However, this so-called dreamland is just the top side of the place. Beneath the city, there's a place called Zon, the city of iron and glass. It is a polluted place, way different from the topside city. Zon welcomes unorthodox research, wherein countless factories and laboratories constantly spew pollution into the environment. This is just the tip of the iceberg, as the political aspect between the topside and undercity weighs heavily on their setup. With that being said, it's easier now to imagine how Zon operates. One day, a massive chem spill devastated the entire districts of Zon. This event was indeed inevitable due to the lack of surveillance in the city. To combat this incident, a series of mechanical golems were sent out to clean up the mess. They were designed to remove the toxic waste claiming the neighborhoods. Those lumbering golems toiled continuously in extremely hazardous locations, fulfilling their programming to better the city for the people of Zon. However, some of the robots showed malfunctions during their mission. This means that the mechanical golems were not perfectly immune to the toxins. They were just a band-aid solution and not for long-term use. Eventually, one particular golem was rendered inoperative and discarded as useless scrap. The mechanical golem was tossed into the trash, ending its mission and purpose of existence. It wasn't until the esteemed inventor Victor discovered the abandoned golem. As a machinist, Victor saw the potential within its inert chassis, thinking that the golem could be more than a rusting piece of metal in the trash. Victor ran a series of experiments to improve the automaton. He even implanted a priceless Hex-Tech crystal, which he found in the deserts of Shurima, into the forsaken golem as an immense upgrade. The operation took some time, but Victor's expertise in machinery triumphed. As the machine rumbled to life, fizzing arcs of lightning danced around their frame. It was an unexpected side effect of the Hex-Tech crystal within their chassis, and because of that, Victor named the mechanical golem Blitzcrank. From a thrown-away robot into a big, tech-meturgical golem built out of golden and bronze-colored steel plating, the big steam engine attached to its back was retained, fitting from its original creation, but it's no longer the main source of power. Upon gaining new consciousness, Blitzcrank was sent down into the most toxic parts of Zon. The golem must prove that they were more than capable of laboring just like their steam-powered brethren, and so Blitzcrank did. Victor witnessed the mechanical golem miraculously accomplish tasks with vastly improved speed and efficiency, realizing that his custom-built golem had actually been learning rather than simply laboring. Blitzcrank showed multiple signs that were not evident to other man-made golems, adjusting its approach for a much more efficient result. It was at that moment when Victor realized how potent his creation was, and it was clear that Blitz could massively exceed Victor's expectations. With a new coating and power source, Blitzcrank continued to complete his purpose, pouring more effort each day. As Blitzcrank fulfilled its duty of cleaning up the chemical spills of Zon, the golem began to innovate, interpret, and extrapolate its daily directives, wanting to serve the people of Zon much further. Blitzcrank's intelligence would grow so much that the golem would interact with the Zonite citizens on a regular basis, something unheard of for a laboring steam golem. Meanwhile, Victor would attempt to replicate his achievement, to no avail. The mad inventor wanted to recreate his invention and maybe add a few layers of innovation once successful. But unfortunately, his success with Blitzcranks was not anchored to the process or specific methods that Victor did. Blitzcrank's blossoming consciousness became a complete enigma to Victor, but the answer was most likely the product of the Hextech crystal. As Blitzcrank continued to learn and grow, concepts such as moderation and nuance remained alien to the golem. Most of the time, Blitzcrank would pursue any effort with their entirety or not at all. The job was either 100% done or none from the start. This would cause Blitzcrank to overdo or misinterpret requests at times, such as smashing down the front of a tenement to help a single resident who lost their keys. It caused another problem, but Blitzcrank can't understand the disappointment from the resident because, for the golem, the request was accomplished. At one point, Victor dispatched Blitzcrank to clean up the runoff of caustic chemicals, reasoning that the most efficient means to prevent further pollution was to eliminate the source of said pollution. Blitzcrank proceeded to destroy the factory. Its lightning-wreathed fists did not stop until it was reduced to a mound of rubble and twisted iron. Blitzcrank did become sentient and resolved the issues logically, but the golem still lacked empathy, which was the reason why the golem could not understand concepts of the situation. Due to Blitzcrank's previous actions, a local chem baron who had owned the factory became enraged when the golem destroyed it. The company demanded that Victor either destroy the golem or pay a steeper price in blood, basically telling the inventor that he must take responsibility for his creation, which was actually fair for the company side. The situation took a toll on Victor. He was devastated since Victor didn't want to shut down Blitzcrank, but paying for the whole factory was also too much for him. Having witnessed Blitzcrank's growth in sentience, Victor considered Blitzcrank as a living being, which adds more weight to the situation. Leaving Victor with no choice, he eventually concocted a scheme to smuggle Blitzcrank to safety. However, he later found out that his creation had already left to ensure the safety of its creator. So Blitz and Victor parted ways to solve the situation. As Victor returned to Piltover, the topside city, to continue his studies, he discovered that his teacher, Professor Stanwyck, had held a symposium about Blitzcrank, presenting their creation as his own, and taking Victor's credit. This puts Victor in an awkward situation, triggered by what he witnessed, but at the same time, lacks the evidence to debunk Professor Stanwyck's claims. It would take a lot of effort for him to prove his case, and Victor does not want to back down. Determined to reclaim his creation, Victor tried to communicate with the higher-ups, but his pleas did nothing for him with the indifferent higher-ups. Pursuing the matter, he asked Jace to help verify his case, but his schoolmate refused. Victor tried all the possible actions for him to debunk the lies, but without any proof to back him up, it was easily painted as envying Professor Stanwyck's great creation. With the odds stacked against him, Victor was unable to bring the truth to light. Because of this, bitterness had the best of him, and he resigned from the university. He then returned to his work, knowing that bettering lives and creating change was more important than credit and ego. At least, that's what Blitzcrank would have wanted. And surely the golem was doing that right now. Going back to the sentient mechanical golem, Blitzcrank had been busy since the day the golem left its previous location. Luckily, Blitz doesn't have to worry about its energy source. The golem can do what it wants with limited rest. Having grown into self-sufficiency, Blitzcrank decided to take up its own mission independent of their creator, looking to resolve Zahn's local problems and provide a better life for its citizens. It looks like Blitzcrank fully understood what harms the Undercity, and no amount of political feud could persuade the golem otherwise. Blitzcrank would often patrol the city, serving to assist and protect any Zahnites without pausing for instruction. Always searching for any problems in need of solutions, Blitzcrank aims to shepherd Zahn down the path of becoming the greatest city in the world. It's also rumored that Blitzcrank has slowly been upgrading its own form, adding modifications to its body to help further its goal. At this point, many suspect that this cold, homogeneous piece of metal has developed sympathy for Zahn, while others think that Blitz was just programmed that way. It became a small argument for some since Blitzcrank's state was indeed intriguing for a man-made robot. One day, while swinging around Zahn with its rocket arms, Blitzcrank found itself at the Rising Howl, a massive hexdraulic conveyor designed to allow vertical travel between the sump to the boundary markets atop Zahn. Blitzcrank stopped at the elevator to enjoy the noise and unique sounds from the massive machine, curiously surveying the many passengers riding it. Aside from showcasing its ability to perform a logical comprehension in every situation, Blitzcrank also expresses its innate curiosity, like an innocent child discovering the things around them. Later on, Blitz finally entered the elevator. As the howl began to descend from the entresol level, it abruptly jammed, causing a terrible malfunction as it painfully braced against the support beams before dropping entirely. As the elevator quickly fell and the passengers screamed, Blitzcrank attempted to grasp onto the support beams and stop the howl from falling. During the chaos, a young boy almost fell out of the howl's window. Blitzcrank extended its hand like a grappling hook aimed to grab the kid. Thanks to the golem's quick response, Blitz managed to grasp the boy with his arm in mid-air. Blitzcrank eventually managed to hold on to the support beams, abruptly stopping the elevator and saving the lives of all the passengers. Once the elevator began to stabilize, the howl's passengers were directed to medical workers by the conductor, who graciously thanked the golem. Blitzcrank simply responded by saying they were fulfilling their purpose before bidding the passengers a good day. Since then, Blitzcrank has been a helper to the citizens of Zahn, while a massive headache for those factories with dangerous chemicals. No one can stop the golem, nor figure out how to. Blitzcrank remained an enigma for a lot of people who encountered the golem. In recent events, Blitzcrank helped out a young man named Echo, the boy who shattered time, when he was fighting a gang of chempunks. Blitz grabbed some of the gang members and blasted them with a wave of electricity to protect the young boy. After this, the two of them became friends, since their principles were obviously aligned with each other. Echo then introduced Blitz to the rest of his gang, including Zeri, also known as the Spark of Zahn. At one point, Blitzcrank became badly damaged after a violent encounter with a couple of scrappers, causing the detachment of their arm. Luckily, Zeri was nearby to help save and repair them. Blitzcrank showed tremendous growth, gaining a circle of friends with a common goal. It was clear that Blitz exceeded the premise of coding programmed to him, but the question regarding whether it's possible for the golem to learn empathy was still up in the air. Do you think Blitz would be able to create a better life for Zahnites? Seems likely, but that will be a story for a different time.